Hi guys, Alex Taylor down here at Heron's Reach, and today I'm going to be testing two hugely popular models for 2020. We're looking at a TaylorMade P770 versus the Mizuno MP20 HMBs. So hollow-headed irons are becoming more and more popular, and if you're watching this after it's just come out, the P770 is just about to be released, or may have just been released when you watch this. But it's going to prove hugely popular, I think, and I've done individual reviews on both irons. But I've had a lot of people already kind of commenting on other videos saying they'd be interested to see how these two stack up against each other, because the idea is hollow heads, so lots and lots of forgiveness, but supposedly going to feel really nice, get good performance. So a lot of golfers seeing these as direct competitors for each other. I'm going to hit some shots on TrackMan Titleist Pro V1X, and we're going to see exactly how P770 stacks up against the HMB. So the HMB already proved to be massively popular, as has the P790. But maybe a couple of golfers, and even in my reviews and other reviews, maybe seen a little bit of inconsistency with distances with the P790, but already started to see more consistency with the 770. So the MP20 HMB is 32 degrees of loft, the P790 is 33. So very, very similar on loft. When you look at the two heads, certainly both good looking golf clubs, but the HMB definitely a bigger head, bigger footprint looking from the back. When you look at them side by side next to the golf ball, definitely the HMB's got a thicker top line, a slightly longer blade. So there is probably the argument for the guy who wants that little bit more reassurance, maybe the HMB looking a little bit bigger, bit more surface area to make contact with, might offer a little bit more confidence from looks. I mean, certainly for me, side by side, the 770 is ticking the box on look. So I'm going to hit 5 or 6 shots, kind of normal ones with these, and I'm not necessarily going to try and hit everything perfectly, because one, I don't, and second of all, it's interesting with the hollow stuff to look how forgiving they can be. Now, interestingly, obviously the 770 has the speed slot in the bottom for the low strike. Does that make a massive difference? Not always convinced, but I'm going to hit 770 first, then some with HMB, and then let's see how easy they are to actually kind of work a little bit side to side, because these aren't just talking about being very forgiving golf clubs, but maybe aimed at the slightly better player who might want to control trajectory and shape a little bit more. So 770, let's see how those stock ones stack up against each other. And it does feel great. It's quick off the club face without being obscenely quick. And as I saw in my review video, some very, very good numbers on spin, because now we're not chasing out and out distance with this. We're looking for something that's going to give us that little bit more control, but that was about as good as it gets to start with. Now that one a little bit lower off the face, and we can see a little drop off in ball speed, but still very good carry. And that's what we're looking for with those little miss hits still to get out there. So it's not a blade, we're not looking to hit this, well, we'd like to hit it pure every time, but we're not going to. And again, love the height, love the control. And again, some really, really consistent numbers. That one maybe didn't feel I got all of that one. It's a good strike, but maybe not 100%, but 164. Again, decent swing. Solid strike, if not absolutely ripped. Just under that 160. Let's go one final one with P770. Again, good strike, good ball speed, and very playable. Right, so that moves me into the HMB, and like I said, you know, certainly when I had clubs side by side, this one is bigger, thicker top line, longer blade. So I'm not sure for me I necessarily want something this big in a 7-iron or a short iron, but P770 did perform well. Let's see how this stacks up. So it's a good start. So a degree stronger in loft. So it'd be interesting to see if that equates to more distance, or whether just maybe the CG being a bit lower in the head kind of balances out on that. So it feels nice, but I would probably say off those first couple, prefer the feel of the P770. Now whether that's just the speed foam in there, just a little bit of a dampening kind of feel, makes it feel a little bit softer, but decent start with those first couple of shots. Now that was me for accuracy there, so I've just left that one out to the right a little bit, but again, some good numbers. And that distance nice and consistent. Again, just leaking a little bit to the right, but great ball speed. And again, some really good consistent carry numbers. It's a directional shot for me. Again, very playable. Let's go one last one with the HMB and then have a look. So again, just hanging out to the right. Right, so definitely for me, looks and feel slightly edged by P770, but let's just look at some averages and certainly grouping of shots to see which was the most consistent. Right, so when we look at dispersion, not really much in it kind of front to back. So that's slightly shorter one with the P770, which I think was the thin one. The accuracy there, I would still put more down to me than the club. So on that basis just there, saw a slightly better dispersion rate with P770. So when we look at the averages, no real difference in club head speed, 90 mile an hour against 89.6, so slightly more ball speed out of the HMB. Now was that down to it being more forgiving, or is that more down to the fact that less, 1 degree less of loft? Carry at 165.4 against 164.6, nothing really in that. But strangely there, actually the HMB just spinning that a little bit more, so maybe a bit more control from spin with the Mizuno. Right, so we saw on the full shots there, nothing really in those clubs, and you know, looks, feel, I don't think cost will massively come into it because they'll be fairly similar, but certainly for me, I'm always interested, can you kind of work the ball a little bit with these irons, or is that little bit of forgiveness something that then takes away from that? So I'm going to try and hit draw, fade, and then hit one a bit lower with both models, and we'll see which one I found a little easier, if either, to do it with. So we'll go draw first. That one just shaping round to the left. And I'm sure any of you guys watching who have watched my videos will say, as a general rule, even the most forgiving clubs in the world, I can get those shaping right to left. So that wasn't a challenge with that one. Let's try and go a little bit more left to right on this. There we go, that one's shaping from left to right. So very, very easy still to get that ball working. Now it's that one about hitting it a little bit flatter. I'm not too bothered about shape here. And yeah, very, very easy to keep it down. So for me, 770 ticking all the boxes there. Right, so HMB, draw first off. Didn't say how much draw, so I'm going to give myself that one. I'm sure I might get some comments about that being more of a hook, but did it go from right to left for a right-handed golfer? Yes, we'll take that one. Okay, so now let's go the fade. Yeah, and certainly workability wise, you know, is down to the user, but felt very, very easy to shape it either way. Now, certainly this one, you know, for me, maybe looks a bit more forgiving. So it'll be interesting to see if this is as tough to keep down. Nope, that's still a lot lower than the full one. So really, really easy to control that shot. Right then guys, so we saw from the results just incredibly similar. Now not a massive surprise, very, very close on loft, very, very much the same design, hollow head, nice and forgiving, little bit of kind of forgedness in there to give that little bit of soft feel. But for me, if you're looking at total performance, there was nothing really in that, if I'm being honest. And if I was personally picking between the two, I don't think I'd be making my decision based on the shots. I think if anything, it's more down to looks and feel. And definitely for me, I preferred the look and feel of the P770. Therefore, if that was the case, for me personally, it'd be the TaylorMade. But I think lots of you guys out there will go for the Mizuno, and whichever one you go for, just as ever, get along, get fitted, make sure it's right for you, and then stick with it, because then it's not the product's fault. Any bad shots are yours. So guys, hope you've enjoyed today's video. If you have, like it and share it, comment below, and I'll get back to as many people as I can. If you've enjoyed today's content and you don't currently subscribe, please consider clicking the button below, ring the notification bell, and then you find out whenever I drop a new video. Follow me on all my social media platforms, all under Ali Taylor Golf. Hopefully catch up with some of you guys down here soon. Stay in contact.